lessons. I run this shindig. I don't teach it. I just make it happen. There are 3 of us this semester. Kyle Conjus, who's one of our other professors, and Skylar Dean, who's the instructor of record for like 40 of you, which is terrifying. It's going to be a little different than last year. We'll talk about that in a minute. Where are my creative directors? Hey, Steve, I'm going to make you talk about this. We have somebody videotaping in the room, which is nicely weird. This has to do specifically with the Castor and Pollux team. You want to say a couple of words about that?
Yeah, sure. So this is Mark Zamora. He's a friend of mine, and we're doing a little video project. Basically, we're making a short web series / documentary on the process of making a game in DVELOP. So that's kind of what we're doing.
GameLab is our industry simulation course. It's the first time that you get to make a game for real. So rather than sitting through classes where you're doing independent work, you're reading books, you're doing small prototypes, now you actually have to function like you're a small independent or commercial game studio. The semester before, there's a 2-month pitch process. So anybody who wants to be a creative director goes through this. You pitch to a committee of 9. It's 3 faculty members, 3 graduate students, usually doctoral students, and 3 industry alumni. The committee goes back into a room and deliberates for about an hour, usually about an hour and a half, and we select 5 games a term. Officially, it's up to 5 games, but I don't think we've ever selected less than 5, not in the last 3 years. Actually, GameLab's been running for about 5. And then once the semester starts, you have 3.5 months to go from, ooh, this is my interesting game idea, to working game in a week, alpha, beta, release candidate 1. So it's fast, it's scary, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Somebody always cries, somebody always gets in a fight with somebody else, and 90% of the class comes out of it going, this is what I want to do for a living. The other 10% go, my God, I never want to do this, and that's the most valuable thing I've learned. So it's pretty fun. But I will tell you this, because we've talked about this piece openly, that Steven's one of the youngest creative directors we've ever taken. And we were very careful when we looked at that. And given, like I said, the strength of the idea, we decided to take a risk and see what he could do.
My name is Steven Zapata. I am junior in college right now, and my major is A-Tech at the University of Texas in Dallas. So that's arts and technologies. So we had that, I used to go to this, back when I was in like 1st grade or something, I used to go to this, out in the country, podunk, grade school, right? And I think it was like my first day going there. I had walked in and they had a TV set up and there were a bunch of kids playing Star Fox. And it's cool because we'd play it, during the breaks and stuff on the old N64. And so it was like seeing Star Wars, the trench run in Star Wars, but you can play it. And that like blew my mind, That was so cool. But they had Zelda and all these other games that they would play. But it was cool because it was this, this kind of self-contained little thing. And so within that small area, I got a lot of exposure to a lot of different varieties of games, mature games and all that kind of stuff, because there were older kids there and younger kids there. So there was this wide array that I wouldn't normally be exposed to. And yeah, that was, I think that, and then getting the Game Boy was the first like really big things that kind of set me off, Yeah.
Next week, concepts, first pass assets, and the production contract is due. Those of you that have been here before know how this works. We'll go over it in a minute. But yeah, alpha's on October 1st. If that cannot happen, if everybody's going to miss that deadline, we will push it back. But for now, we're going to leave it. Hope for the best. October 29th is beta test.
Well, it's a game.
Rather than do that,
that's a good start, right? Yeah. Let me think. Castor and Pollux is 2 things, I think, for me. It's really 2 things. There is the kind of the front end game half of it, and then there's the kind of personal, artistic experimentation side of it, and I guess I'll get to those. But on the game side, Castor and Pollux is basically it's a 2-player cooperative game, but it's a side scroller, sorry. So on one half you have a TV screen and an Xbox controller, and you have that person using the Xbox controller controlling that character, right? And the other half of that is a TV screen and a tablet, And you have the other player, the other person, controlling the character with the tablet and looking at both the big screen and the tablet at the same time, going back and forward. So the gameplay is divided up kind of like that. So again, very asymmetric. But what's cool about it is that it takes 2 people, gives them 2 characters, 1 character for each person, and they play in the same game space. But what's cool about that is that each character that they're given has their own personality, their own art style, their own skill set, you know? Literally, the two characters, they come from different worlds or different planes of existence, you know? I was sitting there sketching this character that was kind of in my head. I knew kind of what he wanted to look like, and I had this idea for this other character that would be this blue color, and they'd have this duality. And I'm telling my friend this story, and I'm like, hey, why don't you, here, and I hand him the notebook, and it's like, here, draw the other character, because his art style is very expressive, it's very cutesy. It's really great. Like he has this cartoony style that captures just emotion and captures, you know, facial expressions so well. They're very expressive. And I was like, here, draw the other character. And so he did. And it was this really simple, smooth design as opposed to all the stuff that I do. All my stuff is very angular and it's rough and it has hard edges and it's almost intentionally abrasive. And it just kind of melded into what it is now. It was both a conscious and unconscious effort, I guess. But it was cool.
That was the birth of Castor and Pollux.
That was kind of the birth of Castor and Pollux, yeah. I think when it comes down to it, the design for Castor and Pollux is driven out of my own desire to make connections with people, to make friends and, you know, meaningful connections, you know. And I think that as a design, everything points to that, or it's supposed to anyway, and I think it does. But I think that as kind of as an art piece, I guess it kind of, I guess it kind of says that, you know, like anyone really, like you can connect on some level, even if you're literally worlds apart, completely different, even if you're not in the same art style, you know, whatever, right? That you can connect on some level. And I think that games actually, in a larger sense, have really proved that to me. And so I just wanted to make a really, really valuable multiplayer experience that people can connect with. Everybody on our team has a lot of experience, which is so incredibly useful. It's so beneficial. And I'm learning a lot. But I think that just being able to lean on the team and being able to trust them is really important to me. And I'm so glad that I can.